What's up, guys? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our videos. Also, make sure you follow us all over social media so you don't miss any of our content or show announcements. How do you think Klay has fit in Dallas so far? He's averaging the least amount of points since his rookie season, and his three-point percentage is near the lowest of his career as well. But the Mavericks are winning and look strong when healthy. And the defense has held up as well, even when Luka, Kyrie, and Klay all play together. What's working in Dallas that didn't work in Golden State? Thanks. Love the show. I think he's mostly been really good. I was looking at the numbers today. He's still at 1.2 points per catch and shoot this season, 1.26 when he's unguarded, 1.16 when he's guarded. Those are both excellent numbers. His number of unguarded attempts is down. I think that has mostly to do with the injuries, though. Like in Golden State, he got 3.6 unguarded catch and shoots per game. He's getting 2.6 with Dallas. Again, that's to be expected when Kyrie and Luka have missed as much time as they have. The trio of guys have actually played 784 possessions, which is not a big sample size, but it's not a tiny sample size either. They have a 120 offensive rating with that group, which is really good. And they have a 113 defensive rating with that group, which is above average. It's not anything to write home about, but it's above average. I still think they could use a lot in the way of reps, and Luka wasn't close to healthy in the time they played. So I think that could look better down the line. I still just really like the roster. I've talked about this a lot, but I think Dallas is the best roster in the West behind Oklahoma City. And what I like about the Klay thing is it's about options. Like there will be situations where Klay makes the most sense. There will be situations where they need more ball handling and Spencer Dinwiddie makes more sense. There will be situations where they need better defense on the perimeter, but also need spot up shooting. They'll go with someone like Quentin Grimes, right? Like there will be situations where between Quentin Grimes and Najee Marshall is playing better. Najee probably gives you the best combination of defense, ball handling, and spot up shooting. But again, a lot of it you can feel out from night to night. Like this guy is feeling it tonight. Let's go with him. Klay's body is feeling great and he's sliding his feet and he's guarding tonight. Okay, we're leaning on Klay. That sort of flexibility to me is what makes this Dallas roster so exciting is like they just have depth at every position group. Okay, you need a primary shot creator. Well, guess what? Kyrie and Luka are two of the very best in the NBA. Okay, well, one of them's down. We need somebody to step into that spot. Well, we have Spencer Dinwiddie who can really create shots in that system. Jaden Hardy, Najee Marshall can put the ball on the floor. Klay Thompson can run action. Like there's just a lot of depth there. Off-ball shooting, there's just a ton of off-ball shooting. Forward depth, you have PJ Washington, you have Maxi Kleber. The center position, you have two just literally rock-solid starting caliber NBA centers. Like that team is just loaded with talent. And I know that they've been losing a lot of games since Kyrie and Luka got out. And I know that they may not be in the situation in the standings that you would have thought this year. But, I mean, this is one of those teams where, like, very rarely in NBA history is there a team where I'm like, if they get healthy and they get right before the end of the season, they can really make a run. And Dallas is one of those teams for me. 4 more. What do you think is the biggest reason for Westbrook's success with the Nuggets? Would you accredit it to Jokic's amazing passing ability, or do you think it's more Westbrook's doing? I've noticed Westbrook has been very good at cutting off the ball and seems to be hitting more catch and shoot threes. Absolutely love the show. I watch almost every episode. Never stop doing this. Thank you. That's very kind of you. I did a deep dive breakdown of this the other day, so I don't want to get too far into it. You can actually find it on our YouTube channel. It's like Westbrook's Return. It's a big thumbnail with Russell Westbrook on it. But I think it's a combination of a lot of factors. I've seen a lot of Nuggets fans that are like kind of victory lapping over like we fixed Russ, no one else could. And like, I think that's disrespectful to the multiple fan bases that watched and rooted for Russ. He's on his 6th team in 7 years, guys. Like it can't all be the Lakers' fault if he's on his 6th team in 7 years. Here's the thing. There's blame to go all the way around in all of these situations. Russ is not the only reason why the Lakers sucked in that 2022 season and missed the playoffs. He's not the only reason why things were bad in that period, which, by the way, they traded Russ and went to the Western Conference Finals. Like, it was clearly a bad fit. They brought in better fitting talent and they went on a run. But like during that time, like other people were to blame as well. It wasn't just Russ's fault. That said, like it was also Russ's fault. Like Russ was not hitting catch and shoot threes. He was not cutting. I shared the numbers, but like he's already had almost 3 times as many buckets off of cuts this season, just in this small half of a season, than he did his last year in Los Angeles. So with the Lakers, I mean. So like it's a combination of factors. Jokic definitely makes it easier. He's the best player in the world. And As good as LeBron and AD are, neither of them were the best player in the world in 2022 or 2023, right? The Nuggets in general, I think, are a better, more organized basketball team than the Lakers. That definitely helps. But a big chunk of it is Russ is starting to hit threes when he didn't. And Russ is being willing to move off the ball and to cut and to be a threat without just standing around on the perimeter. It's Russ, through the humiliation of the last few years, has become an active participant in his own survival in this league. He's put in the work. And so it's a combination of all those factors. I think Nuggets fans should feel a certain amount of pride in the way that they've been able to weaponize Russell Westbrook. But making it so that everyone else was terrible and Russ was never to blame, and here we are finally giving Russ his opportunity, that's just not reality. And guys, I watched every single game he played with the Lakers. I promise you, he was to blame too for how things went during that span. Do you think the concept of a tough shot maker is real? And if so, how valuable is it to a team? I find it hard to understand how a tough shot maker or clutch player averaging 21 points per game will be seen as a more valuable piece on a team compared to someone else who averages the same amount of points doing it with less tough shots. Tough shot making is a skill in basketball just like anything else is. But if it's your foundational skill, I don't think it's a good foundational skill. I'll use myself as an example here for a minute. Like, one of my best traits as a basketball player is I'm a tough shot maker. And I've had that since I was young. I'm a good athlete and I'm tall. I have long arms, and I've worked really hard behind the scenes on like right shoulder fadeaways, left shoulder fadeaways, one leg fadeaways, step backs going right, step backs going left, all this different footwork. And those shots were useful for me when I was younger. But when I was younger and I could make tough shots, but I couldn't do much else, I wasn't a good basketball player. Not nearly as good as I am when I'm older now. Tough shot making still helps me to this day. If there's spots where like I need to get a bucket in my men's league or in a pickup game, like I like having the ability to create my own shot. That's something that is a useful skill. But what made me a better basketball player in this later phase of my time playing is all of the other stuff, like defending, rebounding, playing within a team concept as an offensive player. So like when it comes to tough shot making, like having a tough shot making a shot maker on your NBA team is super useful. But like if your entire offense is predicated on guys hitting tough contested pull-up jump shots, it just puts a certain ceiling on your team offensively, especially when things get grinded down to halt in playoff games. This has been something I've seen with some of the best pull-up shooters in the league in recent years. I've seen this happen to James Harden. I saw it happen to Kevin Durant in 2022, if you remember, when he lost to Boston. There's a lot of examples of this where like it gets so physical that you're so tired that it's hard to make the tough shots. Tough shots are like 50% footwork, and then, or I should say 33% footwork, 33% touch, but 33% is leg strength. Like if I'm looking at a good defender and I go in and out, cross between the legs, and I cover ground on a side step to the right and rise up and shoot, I have to, on that side step, cover enough ground to get separation while also having the leg strength to stop my sideways momentum and get straight up and down and get the lift I need to shoot over a contest and get the ball to the rim. It's hard to do in a knockdown, drag out fist fight of a playoff series. And so I've even seen this with me, like where like when I'm playing in like tough money tournaments and it's like the money's on the line and I'm playing my fifth game in the same day, like I can't be leaning on my right shoulder fade or my left shoulder fade in that situation. I'm just not going to get enough lift to knock it down in those sorts of situations. That's where I've got to use more of my size and strength to get closer to the basket and try to win bully ball battles. I had a money tournament just a couple months ago in the fall where we played 6 games in the same day because we ended up dropping the first game to the team from Phoenix that came down, and we had to go down and beat the losers bracket and then go back up and beat the team from Phoenix. And like I didn't do much work in the post all day. I'd been doing a lot more shooting from the perimeter, operating as a ball handler, that kind of stuff. And in that final game, I was like, I'm dead. I need to just use my size. And I just went down to the block and worked out of the post during the championship game. And it's just more reliable in those sorts of situations. And that's kind of what I've always been drawn to Jokic about, as in more in the NBA concept. And by the way, when I talk about myself as a player, most of you guys take it the right way, but like, it's just how I relate to the game. I don't have delusions of grandeur. I'm not here sitting here thinking I should be in the NBA. As a matter of fact, I think I'm far from that level. But I've worked really hard to become a good basketball player, and it's how I relate to these situations. It's how I think about the game. And like Jokic, for instance, one of the things that's always drawn me to him as a player is like he thrives in those situations because his game is predicated on close to the basket shot making, which doesn't rely as much on his leg strength and is less susceptible to fatigue related decline, if that makes sense.